Hello and welcome to the Carrier Update brought to you by PowerFleet. I'm here with the one and only Donnie Gilbert. Donnie, what do you have for us?
So we have, looking at what's going on over the past weekend in the markets here. Outbound tender rejection rates still kind of been holding steady around between 20 and 21%. That's still very strong for carriers. It's still a carrier's market. Spot market's going to be strong. A little bit of volatility in there. Outbound tender volumes here we have in our red line. It's been going down just a little bit. Now it's still at 15,411, so it's still very strong. Very high demand for trucks, but it has trickled down since September, and this is kind of what we see a lot in October through the middle of October are some downward trends. Call it the calm before the storm, because as we get closer and closer to November, we all expect to see both dry van and reefer start to turn back around, and then we'll jump into that quote fourth quarter rush, retail, Christmas season, holiday season type of atmosphere that's really going to start pushing spot rates up. I expect them to go up a little bit this year, not maybe as high as rejection rates as we saw last year, but seasonal trends will push them up, definitely starting by the 1st of November and all the way through pretty much almost the end of the year. Breaking this down by dry van and reefer, we'll jump over to the next chart here, and we'll see that dry van is at 20.50%. You can see a nice decline there from, like I say, again, the end of September. And it just started kind of, over the past 2 or 3 days to kind of at least level out some small up and downs and get out of that big downward trend. Looking at historical data on dry vans, we expect this to turn around any day now. And is this the beginning of the turnaround? Not positive yet. We need to monitor what goes on this week with dry van tender rejection rates. It's very important. And basically what we saw was just a little bit of bump here through the second and third week of December or of October, and then kind of dropping back down before it takes off in November as well. Reefer holding strong here, 37.21%. Again, big downward trend coming off of October, from the 1st of October. Not fun to see these downward trends, but some markets softening. But as you have markets soften, you have markets that are strengthening as well, and they're just kind of flip-flopping here. But here over the last few days, we've been just above 37%, kind of held steady here. Reefer picked back up starting in September, but again, we see downward trends through the month of October. So it jumped back up in September, and then we'll see it trickle down. But as we get into November for reefer, it's time to get those Thanksgiving holiday foods out to the customers as well. We're going to see a trend pick up as everybody goes out to purchase those. So we're going to see rejection rates go back up. I want to show you this. I'm going to pull up our next chart. I'm going to compare the reefer rejection rates to the historical using our seasonality trend. If you go to your display, you can scroll down and you can choose how many years. I've chosen 1 year of seasonality because the previous 2 years were far different. 2018, 2019, 2020, those are all years that have been completely different. And then we're finally kind of getting back to the latter part of 2021, kind of, the trend starting to normalize. So we see here, they're fairly close here of how they've reacted. I've got the current is blue, where we are with rejection rates, and the green is 2020 reefer outbound tender rejection rates. So I expect it, the peak here started in September, kind of trickle down here, and then right before the 1st of November, we're going to start seeing it start to pick back up as we get into this fourth quarter rush. We're going to see it peak out here right at Thanksgiving, and then start to trickle back down there after Thanksgiving.
So Donnie, really what I'm getting here is it's not a matter of if, but really when, and it's only a matter of time, really in the next week or so, that we're going to start to see some substantial rising.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that's going on right now that says anything's going to turn down or drop out this year as far as, anything bad going on. I don't want to say the R word. Everything shows very positive for things to keep going forward and for conditions to tighten up. There are some labor shortages out there that we were discussing before. This could put a damper maybe through the Thanksgiving season, but I don't think it's going to affect the trucks some, because there's still other products they can run. But you might see some shortages. We're already seeing some shortages hit the shelves here and there in grocery store. And now for a certain one day, you're going to have a lot of people going out and trying to buy, and I don't want to say certain products, but there's always a list of 12, 15 items that pretty much sums up everything that everybody fixes for Thanksgiving. And so as everybody rushes out to get those, it could put another constraint on our supply chain solutions that are currently being stressed right now. And that'll be interesting to see how the market reacts. And that can very well push rates up in the spot market as they start to rush those products to these stores.
Awesome. Donnie, thank you so much for that insight. Then we'll be sure to have you on again.